Is it petty for me to expect the driveway on a new build construction to be all one color concrete? I'm supposed to close on a house on Thursday. A couple months ago, I noticed that the builder poured the driveway, then ripped up half the driveway, then re-poured that half. See photo. New half of driveway was poured shortly before the first walkthrough, and I noticed that the halves were different but assumed that this was just due to the recent pouring and that the sides would quickly blend in. Stopped by house yesterday and driveway is still two different colors. Builder said a month ago that it will power wash sides of house and whatnot before closing, but I'm not sure that will fix this. I don't think left side is dirty. I think this is due to two different pours. Of course, when I raise this, the builder will say it's cosmetic, but when paying $600,000 for a house, I think a buyer should be able to expect that it looks normal and not like this. How unreasonable would it be for me to put this on a list of fix this somehow or I don't close on the house things? Is this a come on, it's concrete, there's no color guarantee, just suck it up situation? Or is this a yeah, many buyers wouldn't find this acceptable at all, even though it's cosmetic sort of thing? You might want to ask over on our concrete if this is acceptable and if the difference will fade with time. Yes, it's a real subreddit. It's a new build in November in 2023. This is likely the least of your worries in this home. The fact that the contractor had to rip up half the driveway to fix something speaks volumes. That looks stupid, and I would find it unacceptable for a new house. If the house were 40 years old, no problem. If your builder thinks this blatantly obvious fuck up is acceptable, imagine the stuff you don't see. I wouldn't settle with this, no way. The best case argument to say to the builder is, imagine you bought $100,000 truck for your own personal car because you earned it, but you had to wait about 6 months for it to be delivered due to back stock. Upon delivery, you see that different parts of the car are slightly different shades of blue, but the manufacturer says you're being a bitch. You've already put the money down. How would you feel about that car that you'll see those differences in shades of color every day? You aren't being petty at all. Totally unacceptable driveway, and I'm amazed others think it's NBD. All these people calling OP picky have never shelled out $600,000 for a brand new build. Of course the concrete guys are going to say get over it because they don't want to redo concrete. When a customer complains about their work, I showed this to my husband, who worked pouring concrete for 40 years. And he said it wasn't acceptable. Those were poured at different times. And honestly, the one on the right side looks like colored concrete. They will never match and a power washing will do nothing. Yay. That looks like ass. I wouldn't be okay with it. Yes, it's cosmetic, but curb appeal is a thing. You gotta love driving up to your home every day. If you don't, it will chip away at your soul. For me, it was highway noise. For you, it will be this driveway. Don't settle. Acid wash and stain it? Left side is older than the right side and there's an expansion joint running down the middle. Likely they ripped the right side up for some reason. Probably shoddy plumbing. You'll be in litigation for a decade over this house. Good luck. That would drive me bananas. I'd need a top coat or something to make it uniform. I don't like how it looks. Power wash before closing, make it contingent or it might not happen. Not petty at all. That's shoddy work. They poured two different colors. I would demand that be corrected. Neighbors across the street had tree roots lift and crack left side of driveway. They replaced one side and it looks like shit. Don't blame you for expecting consistency on a $600,000 house. As others have already stated, walk away. The concrete is atrocious and will not blend for years if ever. It's probably a different mix altogether. The brickwork from another picture is terrible. That is 100 unacceptable and you deserve a normal concrete drive-through. Tell the builder you want it redone the right way. It just looks ridiculous. I'm not accepting that. That would piss me off every time I saw it, and I'm going to hate answering questions from people who notice it as well. Don't listen to the concrete guys. They're just angry it's going to cut into their alcohol budget to replace it. After having just built a new home myself, my advice to you is to make a big deal out of it now before you sign. This isn't a functional issue, but that's an unacceptable cosmetic issue for a house you're paying $600,000 for. Your builder is responsible for their contractors. Is this the quality of work they want representing their business? It would be a shame for any prospective buyers to see this lack of care for the curb appeal of this home. If it looks like this on the outside, what's to say about the integrity of the work behind the walls? The house is 2 different shades of stone. Why not the driveway? Man shrugging. I asked for a re-pour personally. I went digging around at the concrete and I saw missing chunks of concrete on the older style concrete around my new home as well, so they agreed to replace it. But then again, it was a shit job. It took a lot of asking. Other people might care, and it's easy not to care when it isn't yours. Go around the neighborhood and see if the quality matches. Apparently my house was the only one that looked off. From what I was told, the weather and stuff affects the outcome. When I heard the people do the re-pour, they were like, man, whoever did this was drunk as fuck. Thankfully I had cameras around that recorded the sound. I honestly think a power wash is gonna do a lot to lighten up that left side. Either way, this isn't a deal breaker. Both sides will look like the left side regardless in a couple of years. I am no expert, but I would not be happy. It, in my opinion, should be re-poured. Imagine what other problems are hiding in that house if the builders find this acceptable. Wow. I agree with you. That's bad. It would drive me insane that the colors are so very different. Imho. It's shoddy work. They poured 2 different batches and claim it's normal to have color variation. I would find that absolutely unacceptable. And it would be unacceptable whether you paid $200K or $1.5 million for the house. What does the builder say? Not the contractor, but the people from whom you purchased the house. Don't sign off on anything until you find out what can be done to remediate the issue. Not the asshole. Firstly, why did they rip that up in the first place? You have some options. You should ask the concrete subreddit. You might be able to do some sort of acid wash or something on one or both sides to even out the color. Also, I think concrete takes a few months to actually get to its true color. Just a different perspective. Are you in an HOA and will they fine you for it or make you fix it after closing? The concrete will never look the exact same unless it starts the same. I worked in concrete and have had to take massive L's because a pour was interrupted. NGL, you'll be hard-pressed to have them do anything about it, since depending on the area, removing and replacing a full driveway will cost more than the builders are willing to lose. Or they might be really cool about it, who knows? Make sure they don't send somebody out to pressure wash it. You cannot pressure wash concrete that is less than 2 years old, or you can damage or even completely strip off the top cream layer. It's possible it could be treated with oxalic acid. Tell them to either pressure wash to get colors a lot closer or a good driveway paint to cover it. All the same color. That much difference would raise a question with a buyer if it doesn't fade to match. And you shouldn't be asked to take the risk that in 2, 3, 4 years sides will match.